Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's afternoon over in South Africa at the moment. We have Coach Deon Davids and Franco Mostert on our top table today. You know the drill. Just put up your hands if you have any questions, and then they will answer. Once you've asked your question, please could you just drop your hand. What we will also do is, as usual, split the press conference into two sections. The first one obviously being to cater for international media. We'll then have about 5 to 10 minutes toward the end where it will be dedicated purely to Afrikaans. So our international media can just sign off. You're more than welcome to stay on, but you can also just log off if needs be. So please raise your hands for questions, and then we can begin. Question, Stephen Nell.
Thanks, Ina. Hi, Deon. Hi, Franco. Deon, sorry, just firstly, just in terms of injuries, how are you looking on that front?
At this stage, Damien Willemse, as you know, he came off the field with concussion. Well, obviously, he needs to go through the 7-day protocol, so he might be in doubt for this coming weekend. Other than that, we're fine. Everyone is available and ready for training today.
Nathan?
Hi, Zina. Zina, I've got 2 questions for Coach and 1 for Franco, if that's okay.
That's fine, Nathan.
Cool. Coach Deon, morning, your side. Just carry on to Stephen Nell's question. Just give us your official status of the spoon course if you'll be considered for the selection this week.
Hi, Nathan. Spoon joined us yesterday, so he's part of the squad. He's going to train from today on, and obviously we will assess his situation where he is and then make a decision according to that.
All right, and then Coach Deon, there are a few players you've coached at under 20 level with Duan van der Merwe and Piers Kuman, just to name a few. What do you make of those players' abilities? Pity that to play for other clubs outside of South Africa to be considered for international status.
Definitely, we've got respect for the players' ability. Obviously, they, as you said, they made the Springbok side. They've been influential in school. And then obviously also in coming over here, making or they into the Scottish team, and then also Duan making the British and Irish Lions side. So obviously that speaks a lot in terms of their ability. So we respect that, and we're looking forward to compete against them this weekend.
All right, on to Franco. Franco, after Saturday's game review, what would you say are the work-ons this week against an informed Scottish side?
I think, me personally, think we can sharpen up on everything. It wasn't a perfect game for us, but I think we fought it out. And yeah, I think the thing is, we have to stick with our game plan and not fall in the trap or something like that.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Zina. Just a question for Deon, please. Deon, I know it worked out quite well, obviously. You guys showed your depth in the backs as well, you know, with France coming on and stuff. But just as a coaching group, are you guys also a bit disappointed that you didn't have more of a glimpse into what Damien can offer, you know, at fullback, you know, given that he had it was out of his control, but surely it would have been nice to see what he was capable of in a more extended run, you know, in a game.
You know, definitely. I mean, part of the plan was, as we said, coming into this tour is to build momentum and then also to look at key positions where we can build depth and give guys an opportunity to gain experience. And and it was Damien's chance, and we look forward to seeing him performing under such competitive situations in terms of where he is and what he can bring for us going forward. So unfortunately, it didn't work out for him. He got injured, but we know he's a talented guy and he will bounce back, and maybe things will work out for him better going forward. But then also having a guy like Frans Steyn coming on and putting up a performance as he did, just show again the importance of the experience of having experience in your squad and grooming the youngsters around those experience going forward.
Stephen?
Thanks, Z. Deon, just on the scrums, you guys got a very much a big reward against Wales. I suppose the same can be said for Scotland against Australia. Do you expect it to be much tougher this weekend in that department?
First of all, Stephen, if you look at the performance of Scotland in the game against Australia, they put up a very good scrum performance. Obviously, also we know that in the scrumming coachability of Peter de Villiers, he's been with the Springboks, also worked with him at under 20 level. We know he's a very good coach, and you can see the result in terms of what they achieve in their scrums. So obviously, it's going to be a tough battle. But in saying that, also I must commend Dan and the work that the players have done up till this stage in putting up proper performances in scrum. So it's interesting and a tough battle, and something that we really have to be well for this week.
Ron?
Finn Russell gets a lot of publicity over here as a top player. How do you rate him, and do you have a plan in place to stop him?
Obviously, at this stage, we respect Russell and all the other players' ability in the team. We are not focusing on one specific player. As I said, we have a big focus in terms of where we can improve, what we want to do better this weekend. And obviously, also understanding the challenges that Scotland will put forward. So, yeah, it's going to be a collective effort. It's going to ask for a collective effort and an improved effort of us to be successful this coming weekend.
Thank you.
Morgan?
Thanks, Z. Deon, I've got one for you and Sos, please. It's back to Frans Steyn. On Thursday to mark the 50th anniversary of his Test debut, making him the only Springbok in history to be donning the green and gold for 15 years. As coaches, what does Frans bring to you guys? And Sos, for you as players, apart from his playing abilities, what extra does Frans give to you guys as players?
Obviously, from my side, as you correctly said, Frans is a very experienced player. With that, he brings a lot of experience to training. He takes that experience also into games, and he shows it in big moments when that experience is needed or good decisions have to be made. He brings that in terms of his execution, and he also brings a lot of calmness around the players in assisting them in the execution and their decision making. But overall, Frans is just a great guy on and off the field, and he's always there to assist, always there to give guidance, and always there to support the players. And having a guy like him in the squad with quality leadership abilities and being so helpful is just, in my opinion, a good situation to be in, and good to have a player like that in our squad.
Thanks, Deon.
Sbu?
Hi, Coach Deon. Hi, Franco. My question is to the both of you. A lot was said recently, actually, about how the Lions should have attacked the Springboks more. Franco, you obviously know physically what it would have been like. Do you expect Scotland? Finn Russell was one of the players that might have said that. Do you expect Scotland to be more attacking than the Lions series, than in the Lions series? And how will you counter that? If both of you could just add your thoughts on that, that would be great.
Yeah, I think Coach Deon said Finn Russell is a good player, and we don't look at one player. We're looking at the whole team, and the performance they did on the weekend. They did play some running rugby and stuff like that, and I think with our defence, we all suited with that, and hopefully it's going to take a team effort to back it up.
Yeah, I think if you think about Gregor Townsend and his philosophy in terms of how the brand of rugby that he played with Scotland in the past Six Nations and also last weekend, obviously it's part of their style of play is to keep ball in hand, to use the width of the field. So I think going into this game and having been successful the past weekend, that might be the same scenarios or situations that they will bring to us on this weekend. And having quality players like Finn Russell and the rest of the guys around him to implement that, I think they're going to ask a lot of questions of us in the game. And from a defensive point of view, those are the things that we need to be ready with. We prepare for that, and we will make sure that we will be ready.
David?
Hi, Deon. I'd just like to ask, did you see anything from that game yesterday against Australia that opened your eyes, or learned anything new that will be useful for yourselves next week in terms of Scotland's performance? Sorry.
Listen, Scotland is a well-coached side. I'm going to say that, and they, in all aspects, they've got a good set piece. They're good on attack. They're good on defence. So I think overall they're a very good, well-coached side, and we need to expect and be ready and expect anything, and in order to counter them in all of those areas.
Thank you.
Percy, I know you generally ask Afrikaans. Do you have any English questions for now before we switch to Afrikaans later?
Thank you so much, Zina. I'll wait for the Afrikaans section, ma'am. Thank you so much.
All good. Rob, is that a new hand? Rob?
No, old hands, sorry.
Okay. That's good. Adnan?
Yeah, thanks, Zina. How's it, Deon and Sos? Deon, I just wanted to, you mentioned the defense from the lineouts in the first half. Obviously, there was only one scrum, which you guys dominated, for the rest of the game. But from the lineout mauls, you didn't get the return that you actually wanted. Is that aspect of the game that you guys will want to improve on, obviously?
You're speaking about our own lineup now.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
And definitely, we looked at that, and I think there's certain areas in terms of our building blocks, in terms of mauling, that we consistently want to work on. Obviously, we also must commend Wales in terms of the battles that they brought and how they defended the mauls. I think it's not going to get easier this weekend against Scotland and even going forward. So it's a consistent process for us to become better and to handle that. Obviously, towards the end, I think we've improved in terms of the longer the game went on and the more opportunities we got, and trying to figure out how we can make it work for us. And we also spoke at length this morning about this in terms of where we are more areas that we can work on. So yeah, it's going to be a consistent process for us. We understand it's going to be a big grind, and we're trying to prepare for that.
Thanks.
Dylan?
Thanks, Zina. Just a question for Deon, please. Deon, just your thoughts on the performance of the back row against Wales. It seemed that all three starting back rows and even the replacement had a really, really good game. Obviously, Kwagga and Sia really took the opportunity to shine against Wales. Just your thoughts on their performances over the past couple of games.
No, definitely. I must commend all three of them in terms of the way they stepped up in terms of their own performances. Obviously, we spoke about different things, but each one of those guys bring something special in different areas of our game, whether it's in set piece, whether it's on attack or defense, and having that experience of Sia and Dwayne in the back row, and having an explosive athlete like Kwagga together with Jasper or Marco, whoever coming on late in the game is a luxury. And yeah, we just glad that at this stage they're playing such good rugby.
Are there any other English questions before we switch over to Afrikaans? I know all day.
Yes, please, just one more from me.
Okay, then that will be the final English questions. Boo?
Coach Deon, thanks, Zina. Coach Deon, just on the Scotland clash again, very tricky trip in Murrayfield. A lot was said about South Africa's record against Wales at Cardiff. What do you expect in Murrayfield in terms of the challenge there? And just added to that, your skipper Sia Kolisi has added quite a level to his game, playing full 80s, looking in great shape. How influential has he been just the whole season as in his playing capacity this time?
No, I think if you look back in the Lions series, and you also look back in the Championship series and in the past games here, really played his heart out. He really stepped up and really put in some great performances. Obviously, also in terms from a leadership perspective, off-field, the preparation and the leadership that he provides leading up into the game, and also then the challenges that he faced and how we handle it and how we communicate. I think those areas are really areas that we can commend him in terms of the leadership that he provided, and also the actions that he put together with that. So I think that is quite inspirational. And then going into this game, obviously playing against Wales and Scotland here with a passionate crowd and this wonderful atmosphere that you experience here, it always going to take the best, or going to ask the best from you as opposition in order to compete against guys that are really proud of playing in front of their home crowd and also want to do their best and giving them the result to say thank you for the support that they get from them. So it's always going to be tough. And I think it's this weekend. It's going to be the same. And having experienced that now, and also playing under tough conditions, we really have to be tactically and technically very sound in terms of our execution in order to get a proper result.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That concludes the English portion of our press conference. For our international media, you are more than welcome to sign off now, and then we'll continue in Afrikaans with our local media. On that note, we will cross directly to Percy.
Sina, thank you so much for this opportunity. Goeiedag sê meneer, meneer Davids en soms. Deon, kan ek by jou begin? Kan ek net vra vinnig, net vir die Afrikaanse doeleindes, kan jy dalk vir ons net 'n bietjie jou status gee rondom Damian Willemse en Spoon Kossie se beskikbaarheid moontlik vir hierdie week? En die tweede deel van daai vraag is dan, Deon, jy was nou redelik baie beskeie geweest, jy het gepraat van jou kollega Dani Iman se rol in julle voorspelerspel. Die Springbokke, Suid-Afrika was nog nooit weggesteek dat julle maak grootliks staat op julle voorspelerspel nie. Waarin skryf julle tans julle sukses toe met julle agtal vir al die afgelope naweek teen Wallis van daai tweede helfte? En soos kan ek dan vir jou vra dan, ek kyk nou hierso, ek sien ek kan vaar jy het nou jou 49ste toetskep gekry hierdie naweek. Jammer dat ek so donk klink nou meneer. Ek kan vaar ook jy het al teen Skotland in Skotland gespeel meneer. Wat verg dit van julle Springbok span dan om sukses te behaal hierdie naweek teen daai Skotse span wat gister iets wat verras het in Australië?
Net in terme van die beserings, Damian Willemse waarsingsskudding opgedoen hierdie naweek, so natuurlik moet hy deur die normale protokolle gaan, en kan moontlik of sal moontlik nie vir hierdie naweek oorweeg kan word nie. Spoon Kossie het by ons aangesluit gister, so hy is gereed en reg om te oefen vir hierdie week, so ons sal natuurlik vandag sien waar hy is en dan hom in oorweging bring vir hierdie wedstryd of vir volgende week. In terme van ons voorspelers spel, ek dink dit was nog altyd 'n massiewe kollektiewe benadering. Ek dink ons as voorspelers of Suid-Afrikaanse voorspelers is baie trots in terme van hoe ons scrims of ons lynstaande of maalbewegings benader. En ons is ook baie krities in terme van dit. So ons is bly dat ons 'n bydrae kon maak tot in hierdie stadium om goeie uitslae te kry, maar ons is ook baie bewus daarvan dat daar nog baie harde werk voor lê om die eindproduk te kry. So hierdie naweek teen Wallis was 'n groot uitdaging. Ek dink dit was baie kompeterend voor. En as jy kyk na die vertoning van Skotland die naweek teen Australië, dan gaan dit niks anders wees nie. So dit gaan deeglike voorbereiding van ons verg op en van die veld en ons sal takties en tegnies baie goed moet wees Saterdag om dieselfde resultate te kry.
Steven?
Sous, kan jy gou anders asseblief met jammer Sina?
Ekskuus Percy, Sous?
Ja, sorry Percy, wat was daai vraag weer?
Net kort het gesê, jy is 'n redelik ervare man wat al 49 toetse verskynings gemaak het en ek kan vaar ook jy het al teen Skotland in Skotland gespeel. Wat gaan dit verg van julle om weer sukses te behaal teen hierdie Skotse span, veral in die lig van wat gister gebeur het teen Australië?
Ja nee, ons almal weet hulle het 'n goeie game gehad gister met hulle wen. Ek was bevoorreg om 2018 hier te speel en dit was 'n moeilike wedstryd en ons het hom toe op die einde deurgetrek en ja, ek dink dit gaan 'n span effort vat om hierdie deur te trek, want soos coach Deon gesê het, hulle speel vir hulle ondersteuners en hulle probeer hulle trots te maak en dit gaan 'n groot effort vat van ons af om die wen deur te trek.
Baie dankie.
Steven?
Dankie Zina. Vir Deon en vir Sous. Deon het eerstens uiteraard nou met Damian uit. Is dit so eenvoudig vir julle om te sê maar Frans het goed gedoen, julle kies outomaties vir Frans of het julle gekom met 'n redelike vooropgestelde idees van wie julle gaan kies vir watter toets? Kom wil jy dan nou terug in die prentjie of hoe sal dinge daarso werk?
Steven, dit raak altyd 'n debat in terme van so weer eens sê in terme van wat jy wil bereik. Natuurlik soos ek gesê het met Damian is die hele planne, hele idee natuurlik om diepte in hy posisie te kweek. Maar jy moet ook aspekte in gedagte hou in terme van die oppositie teen wie jy speel. Wat is die uitdaging die oppositie na die wedstryd toe bring? En watter speler of spelers gaan die beste in hy posisie wees om die om die uitdagings te hanteer en ook om mondelik 'n groot bydrae te kan maak om die resultate te behaal wat jy graag sal wil sien. So daar's baie vertroue in al die spelers wat hier is maar aan die einde van die dag raak dit 'n debat in terme van wat gaan die in ons opinie die beste keuse wees vir hierdie wedstryd.
Dan sies net met die Suid-Afrikaanse skotte daarso in hulle span en veral voorlangs, ek wil watter dinamika skep so iets met julle ouens speel nou met teen 'n Skotse span met 'n redelike sterk Suid-Afrikaanse geur. Watter dinamika skep dit op die veld? Is daar 'n bietjie meer emosie? Tel julle op dat daar spelers is meer ervare of hoe ervaar julle so iets?
Ek persoonlik sal dit bly nog steeds net 'n speler. Die ding is net, jy weet, hy verstaan Afrikaans en is dieselfde bloed eintlik in goeters maar ek dink persoonlik dit maak nie 'n verskil nie. Ek dink daar's enige emosie in nie. Hulle al twee wat daar speel is goeie rugby spelers en hulle was in Suid-Afrika en hulle het 'n naam gemaak in Suid-Afrika. Dus kom hulle seker maar geskuif het en oor see wil kom speel het en ja, jy kan sien hoe hulle hierso speel ook. Hulle is goeie rugby spelers en ja, dit gaan net, ek dink hulle gaan net wil ook goeie games speel die naweek en hopelik word hulle ook gekies vir die naweek en dan kan ons maar net, ja, lekker jol.
Adnan?
Ja, dankie Zena. Net om aan te sluit by Steven se vraag vroeër oor die spelers wat inkom. Ons het gesien obviously met Damien wat uit is, Deon, is daar miskien 'n moontlikheid dat ook so Apeleli Fassie dalk 'n kans kan kry of en ons het ook gesien ook soos Jesse Kriel wat op vleuel uitgedrag word die naweek wat nie normaalweg sy posisie is nie. Kan ons in dit in ag neem dalk moontlik veranderinge daar? Ek weet die span word môre aangekondig, maar is dit in julle gedagte?
Ja, definitief. Ek dink met Damien uit natuurlik sal die debat wees rondom Willie, Frans Steyn, na sy goeie vertoning. Oukie soos Apelele Fassie. Ook natuurlik sal deel wees van daardie debat. Of dit nou as 15 is en of dit op vleuel is. So as ek sê dit is 'n debat wat ons voer en ons sal definitief 'n besluit uit daardie 3 spelers uitneem in terme van wat die beste gaan wees vir Saterdag.
Dankie.
We have 1 minute left. Dylan, I'm assuming that is that an Afrikaans question?
Sorry, Zena, that's an old hand, sorry.
An old hand. Percy, your hand's also still been up. Is that a fresh question? And then we can wrap up with you.
Baie dankie Zena. Ek kon net gevra vir Sous vra, jammer Adnan. Sous, net 'n opvolg op Steven Nels se vraag oor die kwessie dat daar heelwat Suid-Afrikaanse spelers in daai Skotse groep is. Kom ek vra gou 'n baie snaakse vraag. Gaan Afrikaans dalk 'n uitdaging vir julle in die wedstryd wees wanneer dit kom by die uitroep van lynstaan calls en sulke goeters of moet julle die taalskling nou aanpas nou vir hierdie wedstryd?
Nee, dit sal glad nie invloed hê glo ek op die game nie. Ek dink ons gaan nog steeds ons calls maak en ons pre-calls maak. So ja, ek dink daar sal geen invloed hê op die game nie.
Adnan, is that another question?
Ja, ek wil net geweet, dankie Zena. Jy het genoem Pieter de Villiers vroeër, net sy insaag, hoe waardevol gaan dit wees vir Skotland, veral van 'n skrim aspek. Ons het gesien die verbetering wat hulle getoon het teen Australië. Jy het dit vroeër in Engels genoem, maar net 'n bietjie meer insig oor dit. Pieter de Villiers, die vaskopstit.
Ja, Pieter de Villiers, Adnan is 'n baie goeie skrimafrigter. Ek was nog gelukkig om 'n paar, een of 2 wêreldbekers met hom te doen by die junior Springbokke. Natuurlik verstaan Pieter die mentaliteit van Suid-Afrikaanse voorspelers en wat ons voor wil bereik. Ek dink tegnies natuurlik ook in terme van wat hy bereik het met die Springbok span toe hy die voorspeler, die skrim afrigter was en ook wat hy bereik tans met Skotland. spreekboekdele. So ons sal 'n pak voorspelers Saterdag ervaar wat se sisteme goed is, wat tegnies goed afgerig is en wat baie kompeterend gaan wees. En dat gaan vir ons belangrik wees om te fokus op dit wat ons goed gedoen het tot in hierdie stadium. Ek dink daar was voorheen gesê dat ek dan doen ek uitstekende werk met die spelers in terme van hulle skrumwerk en die manier hoe die spelers ook strewe daarna om in elke wedstryd beter te word is belangrik. So dit gaan interessant wees, maar ja, dit gaan 'n uitdaging wees gegee die omstandighede en gegee die vertoning van al twee pakke in skrumwerk die afgelope tyd.
Baie dankie.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That concludes our press conference for today. We'll be sending out the recording shortly. If you don't receive it, just let us know. Have a fantastic day and keep well. And thank you, Deon and Sos.
Thank you, Gina.